you know, he has been alone so long that he has lost all hope. He's saying, um, he gi- he 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 gives that whole speech about the comparison to other people who are immune with the virus. I think he said like there's like 11 like 100,000 people who are immune, or 1100 million people who are not immune to the virus. And then he says that, you know, the other 5.4 billion people, they got hungry and they fed on every living person. And he's like, and he screams that everybody's dead, and he says that there is no God and all that stuff. I thought that was a really great scene. The scene after that, where he is doing Shrek as a way to express his gratitude to the mom and kid, is a really great scene, and it's really funny, um, um, uh, and it's really cool because he's doing a really good impersonation of Donkey, who was voiced by Zeddy Murphy, who Will Smith has attributed to as like his biggest role model as far as like a movie star goes. He kind of wanted to be him. He wanted to be Murphy um, as a movie star, and he is doing a pretty good impression of Eddie Murphy as Donkey, I think. And then another scene with him and the mom is when he's explaining who Bob Marley is. It's a funny scene, but it also shows his passion for like music and all that stuff. Um, those are some really, really good scenes, I thought, and to further showcase his talent.
Yeah, definitely. I think when
Yeah,
he figures out that that he's not the last person left, he doesn't know how to navigate that very
right.
well at first, of course, because this film really, much like how The Walking Dead tried to do, it's less about the monsters and about us, like about
Right.
humanity, and it's very much a character study on loneliness, and how we try to adapt to these different scenarios, and how these big catastrophes can affect us long term. You know what I mean? Which is
Yes.
very very interesting.
Yes. And how inherently like human beings are social people. We're social beings. Uh, thrive on interaction, and to take that away, especially for someone like Will Smith, whose persona has always been about his interaction with other people. I mean, that's what made him on The Fresh Prince so compelling. Is he could, walk into a room and have chemistry with everybody in the room, and you know, he can oftentimes be looked at as, working best when he's playing off of people, and then to take that away to really, highlight his vulnerability that, some might say of him as a performer, and he just takes it. Uh, is a really great thing. Uh, it kind of sucks that the Oscar catastrophe kind of has been slowly chipping away at his at, future projects, because I was really looking forward to what his post-Oscar career looks like. Because I think that since he has gotten the award, I think he would have gotten that dream that he was chasing of winning an Oscar. It's just something that he's been wanting to do for decades. Um, and to be honest, I would have nominated him for this movie too. You know, morph into the uh, play more to the actor side of him than the movie star side of him, I think. And I think the great thing about his performance in King Richard is that it does both. It's both the movie star charisma, but it's real acting and it's real performance. And he's really has sunk his teeth into the part that I think he really, really is proud of. And it's a shame that this Oscar fiasco kind of put his career kind of on ice.
I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on a potential sequel to this? I know they had announced,
Yes,
and this was pre-Oscars, they had announced that
yeah,
another film was going to be made with him coming back somehow, and Michael B. Jordan, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, that is correct. I When that was announced, I was overjoyed. I think if there was an heir apparent to Will Smith and who could potentially be the next big movie star, it's Michael B. Jordan. I like him as an actor since seeing him in Chronicle. Um, he's great in Fruitvale Station. He gave his best performance, I think, in Creed, which I think he should have won as an actor. He also gave a really great performance in Black Panther, which he should have been for best supporting actor. Um, his Tom Clancy movie kind of sucked, but we all have our bad goes. But I think he's a movie star. I think he's a great actor. I think, like Will, he has really he's trying to discover his niche. And the great thing about Michael B. Jordan is he doesn't really have a kind of set movie star persona, which I think is really great when you can give him a role that he hasn't done before, like, say, Killmonger in Black Panther, where he has to dig really, really deep into some complex emotions. And I think he has talked about how in the industry, Will Smith is like a big brother to him, and how Will Smith has kind of taken him under his wing and kind of shown him the ropes and sort of gave him advice and stuff like that. And to have them pair up in a movie, I think is, in my top 10 most wanted wish list for projects in Hollywood. So I'm hoping that project still goes. I don't know how they would justify bringing Will Smith back. I would assume they would either say fuck the theatrical ending and do the alternate ending, which I guess we could get into, in which the monsters come into his place. He tries to convince him that he can save everybody from the cure, but he realizes that they won't listen. So instead, he just gives back the creature to the male, and as a show of gratitude, the creatures don't kill him, and the three of them, Will, the mother, and the son, they escape and they go to the colony. So that might be the ending that they decide to go with, and I know that that's the ending that a lot of people prefer over the theatrical ending. So I think that's how they justify it.
So you don't think they're going to try to say that he survived? So let's set up the real theatrical ending where the mother and the son they're trapped in the lab, and he basically discovers that he's found a cure to reverse the virus and essentially maybe save all the humans that are still out there infected. But at that point in time, they've already been invaded, and all of these, monsters are super aggressive towards them because they think that he's, stolen somebody close to them and potentially probably killed her. So they're out for revenge and not really listening. So he quickly gets a vial of the from the female monster who's cured, her blood, and he gives it to the mother, and he tells them to get in this little vault and basically sacrifices himself so that way when the monsters get through the glass lab doors, that they don't just break into the safe. So he uses like a grenade or something.
Yes.
From a drawer.
It's a hand grenade.
And blows them all up so that way they don't furthermore go after the mother and son. So it's like this. He's sacrificing himself, and they hint at that he's gonna go be with his family and stuff. So in its own right, it's not a bad ending in my eyes. I feel like it's a pretty good send off to a tortured character, and him finally coming to terms with what he was meant to do in that world. So for me, I don't have a problem with that, but them trying to bring him back is fine. I just wonder, going back to what you said, if they will totally negate the theatrical ending and go with the alternative the alternative to me works too, because what this movie, another thing that it could be guilty of is that it doesn't show an opposite side of what the monsters are going through. There's really no
Hmm.
through line. They're very one dimensional, and it is
Yes.
all about Robert. So that ending gives them humanity, and it says
Yes.
that, hey, Robert was wrong, and thinking that they were just animals and they didn't have feelings and they didn't care and they just want to kill and and ravage things. They do still have feelings, and that's why that whole kind of cat and mouse thing happened in the first place, is because he took
Yes.
somebody that they cared for, so in a way that alternative ending is pretty great too.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I think that ending is a little bit more thematically richer, and I think if they choose to do that alternate ending, that's probably something that they would lean into in the sequel. I can't imagine what the sequel would be about. Um, I hope they don't try to do some bullshit of him, of Michael B. Jordan being the son. Um, I would suspect that they might do a Godfather Part 2 thing where Michael B. Jordan is playing the younger Will Smith after everything has transpired. But from the way that the article sounded, it sounded like they were starring in it together and that they would be, you know, co-stars. So I don't think that would be
Well,
the way to go either.
I think years ago there was a prequel that was going to fill in that gap of what happened once his family was killed, and what brought him to the ground zero, and how he had
Right.
everything is kind of predetermined, and he's already established when we start this movie, and we just get flashbacks. So they were going to fill in all of those gaps, and then it never panned out. But I think that has been completely tossed away. So it won't. It's not supposed to be a prequel, I don't think.
Yeah, it said, the article said sequel. So um, whatever it is, it's going to take place after this
Okay.
one. But so post Oscars, do you think that happens, or do you think they uh, pull the trigger on that one too?
Supposedly, the couple of things that have been on standstill, they're saying it's just a coincidence and it has nothing to do with his controversy at the Oscars. I don't know if that's true or if they're just trying to,
I
cover.
think they're trying to save face. I feel like.
Maybe that might be it too. But I think that maybe it might stay in development hell a little longer than it would have, but
Yeah, I agree.
with the star power of Michael B. Jordan, I think we'll eventually get this part two.
Yeah, I hope so too. 'Cause that seems like a really, really cool project for them to do, and it would be two people. At this point, that would kind of be like if Denzel Washington and Sidney Poitier starred in a movie together. Like
Yeah,
it would be two, two generations of talent starring in, a blockbuster. Hopefully, it's not a blockbuster that gets punted to HBO Max. Hopefully, it's seen on the big screen. But yeah, I would be interested in that. I wanted to ask you, what do you think? I will. Uh, say the Oscar fiasco never happened, and we are living in a post world where Will Smith has an Oscar. Do you think that he goes back to doing roles like this, or do you think he does like a victory lap? Like, what would you want him to do next? Now that he's won his Oscar, would you want to see more of the movie star, or more of like this?
I I like this side because I feel like
Hmm.
he hasn't explored it nearly as much. Um, Maybe that's just a little indie kid inside of me that likes small niche stuff. So maybe I'm biased, but yeah, I would say in my for me personally, I like stuff like this and King Richard.
Hmm.
Um, what about you, man?
I I have this theory that he could be the Michael